All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And with Thanksgiving being around the corner as of the time of this recording, we're like a day, if not less than a day away from the holiday itself. I thought I would give you guys 10 reasons as to why I'm thankful for Xdefiant. Now, on the surface, I know that sounds very simple, but it actually runs quite a lot deeper than that, especially if you've been around for a certain period of time, especially, even more especially so from those of you guys that have been with me since the very beginning. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say that before starting this, I just want to say when I list something first, doesn't mean it's the best thing. And when I list something last, it doesn't mean it's the least best. These are things that I'm pretty much equally thankful for across the board when you put everything into a certain perspective. So without further ado, so that way this video doesn't run too long, let's get right into the list of 10 reasons as to why I'm thankful for Xdefiant. Reason number 1, it has ethical and organic matchmaking. If you do well in a game, or if you do bad in a game, your score will display at the very end of the match. And it is the honest truth. It's the honest truth that literally stares at you in the face, that tells you like, hey, this is the score you actually earned. You didn't have any help getting that score by an algorithm or something like that. You know, you weren't fed an easy bot lobby or something like that. It was an organic match, and you earned the score in that lobby for what you got in accordance with how you performed specifically during that match. Now, obviously, you're going to have good games, you're going to have your bad games, you're going to have in your between games, but it's got an ethical matchmaking system. And I've been around the block quite a long time when it comes to gaming, right? Ever since before multiplayer shooters even became a thing. I started gaming when I was 7 years old. I am currently 40. It's been one of those hobbies that has stuck with me for pretty much the vast majority of my life. And when I look back 20 years ago, when multiplayer console, shooters became a thing online, when Xbox Live released 20 years ago with the release of Halo 2, you notice the difference in terms of how the matchmaking works in most games back then compared to now. And back then, it was a lot more ethical. And Xdefiant is one of the only games, if not the only game currently, the only like modern game that I can think of off the top of my head anyway, that currently has a legit matchmaking system that is not rigged, that is not run by an AI algorithm or anything like that. It is a legit matchmaking system. And for that, I am thankful. Next up on the list, I've got I'm thankful that the game actually has transparent devs who care. Now, I know that the dev team isn't as big and we're moving really slow in order to get from A to B and hopefully make it to Z eventually. And I know things have been quiet over the last while, actually. But I truly believe that it's because the devs are really hard at work to give us the biggest season ever, which is rumored to be, the biggest season in season 3, bigger than 1 and 2 combined, according to rumors and leaks. And I think between putting the finishing touches on the netcode to get to a much better place than we've ever had before, implementing the different features like the prestige system and everything else, and other features as well, is a big deal. And these guys want to get it done. And plus, you've got the holidays in the middle of that, in particular this one with Thanksgiving, and of course with upcoming Christmas. So when you've got all that going on, you've got deadlines to meet, you've got all the different things that the community's been asking for, one of them which recently released in beta form, which is the private matches. All these things are actually really, some of these things are really time consuming in order to develop. And when you have a smaller dev team and then everything else that I just mentioned, as well as a few things that we don't even know about, because at the end of the day, we are on the outside looking in. When these developers actually are able to communicate with us and be as transparent as they could possibly be within their limits, I'm grateful for that, because for a long time when it comes to certain other games, and we're not just talking about one franchise that is called Call of Duty, but we're talking about another franchises as well, like let's say Halo, for instance. There's been plenty of times where communities have been ignored, or just basically have been kind of pushed off to the side to where it's like, hey, you guys don't know what you're talking about, we're going to do this, right? But within time, it appears that the community was right. So the fact that the Xdefiant devs are willing to meet us somewhere in the middle and listen, and not just worry about the data in terms of what they get from everything that their computers tell them, and that they're willing to listen to what we have to say within accordance with our experience as well, is something that I can certainly appreciate. So that's another reason why I'm thankful. Moving on to the third reason of why I'm thankful for Xdefiant, and this is where things start getting a little deep. Xdefiant, quite frankly, resurrected my channel. To put things in perspective, guys, my channel's been around for 9.5 years. And April 15th is going to be the 10-year anniversary of this channel. And before I started covering Xdefiant, for about 6.5 years or so, I was covering Call of Duty, doing pretty much what I do here now, but I was covering Call of Duty. And then for about 1.5 to 2 years, I went into the, dark ages to where I stopped doing Call of Duty content, didn't know what I was going to do, was focusing on other aspects of life and just focusing on what was going on in my life. Content creation kind of took a step to the side, and I was just doing random stuff on here. And at that point in time, I was at 1.6K subscribers. And whenever I would do something on here, whether it was a stream of a random game or whether it was, a commentary about something completely different, I would be lucky to get like 1 or 2 people in my stream, one of which would know me in real life. And as far as video views are concerned, like we're talking like I'd be lucky to get like 50 at best, right? At best, I was lucky to get 50, right? And then when Xdefiant was announced, and especially since there was no skill-based matchmaking, it's like all of a sudden, whatever I had left in the tank as far as a passion for multiplayer first-person arcade shooters is concerned, I decided to use whatever I had left in the tank on Xdefiant. And I started making content. And after a little while, maybe it was a few weeks or maybe even a few months, I started seeing that the viewership was generally like, wow. I was like, wow, I wasn't getting this kind of viewership before. And I just obviously kept going. I enjoyed what I was doing. I was enjoying making the videos, speculating, all that kind of stuff. And then fast forward 1.5 years later, because remember, Xdefiant was actually set to release sooner than what it did, than when it did. Fast forward 1.5 years later, okay, the channel went from 1.6K subs to a current 4.2K. And it all happened within 1.5 years. Okay, so that is quite a difference. And on top of that, to get to where I was when I was doing COD, I had to make a few videos on Thunderstruck Gaming, which is 402 Thunder's community channel. I made about 4 or 5 videos. The first one was the most successful because I ended up getting like 300 or 400 subscribers from there, which helped get me, closer to 1,000. And then when Black Ops 4 came out, I was actually able to make 1,000. But the thing is, like, with all those years and with help, thanks to Thunderstruck Gaming, I was able to get to a certain point in like a lot of years of doing it, right? But yet, after just 1.5 years of doing Xdefiant content, this channel has had like more success than it's ever had in record time, in like 1.5 years. And that's another reason why I'm thankful for Xdefiant. It's because of Xdefiant and of course because of you guys. But don't worry, I'm not leaving you guys out of this list. Don't worry. But let's move on the list to the next reason why I'm thankful for Xdefiant. Let's see. Xdefiant has actually broken my stream viewership records. So, and we're not counting that one time where I got raided a few times by a big content creator on Twitch. As far as here and on Twitch, other than that 1 or 2 times I got raided, whenever I would stream on Twitch or here on YouTube, the numbers would be like, I remember the highest number was 20 for Black Ops 4 back in 2019. Which was a big deal, a really big deal. But in Xdefiant, there was one particular stream where we managed to reach 70 viewers. And then basically, sometime after that, it was like we were holding steady at mid-50s, low 60s. And that is another reason why I'm thankful. Because that's the reason why we stream. We stream for the viewer interaction. If we just wanted to play the game, we wouldn't stream. Well, at least I'm speaking for myself. I won't speak for anybody else. But I stream because I enjoy the viewer interaction. Simple as that. It's not like couch co-op. It's not like inviting people over to play a game like it was in the old days. But in the year 2024, it's as close as we can get. So the fact that there's a consistent amount of viewers in my streams to this day is a very humbling experience, especially if you think about what I mentioned previously, to where I'd be lucky to have 1 or 2 viewers. So quite a big difference. All right, next up. And this one is obvious, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys are waiting for this one. My channel is now monetized. There was no way I would even consider monetizing this channel if it wasn't for you guys and what Xdefiant has provided in terms of the viewership for my channel. And just so you guys know, if you're not aware already, I'm not partnered with Ubisoft. I'm not a Ubisoft partner. I'm not in cahoots with Xdefiant or anything like that. And I've already stated that even if it was offered to me, I would politely decline. So yeah, my channel is monetized now, and it's all because of you guys. It's all because of you guys, and I am thankful for that. And I wouldn't even think about doing it if it wasn't for everything that you guys have given me in terms of the viewerships, the likes, and all that kind of stuff. You know, you basically, through your viewerships, through your content, comments, and through your showing up on stream, the combination of all those things basically has, you know, you guys have been telling me that, in other words, without telling me, you've been telling me that, hey, you're worthy of being monetized. So thank you for that. And again, thank you to Xdefiant. All right, next up, obviously this is obviously goes hand in hand with what I just said. The community that I'm thankful for Xdefiant because of the community that supports my content, you know, and you guys are obviously here for Xdefiant. The vast majority of you are here for Xdefiant. And for whatever reason that you've decided to subscribe, for whatever reason you've decided to like a video or videos, for whatever reason you've decided to leave a comment or comments, you know, I'm thankful for that because you're helping out the channel. You're communicating with me. You're giving feedback, not just on my content, but you're also giving feedback about the game, your opinions, your thoughts, and all that kind of stuff, which can in turn help make the game better. But ultimately, you guys are the ones, see, any content creator out there, it's not all just them. It's the viewers just as much as it is a content creator. Like a content creator can provide a ton of content, but if the viewers decide not to watch, or they're not interested, or there's not much going on or anything like that, that content creator won't get anywhere. So it doesn't happen without the viewers. It doesn't happen without the supporters, you guys. And quite frankly, without sounding cheesy, I'm just being real, this channel would not be where it is today without you and your support. It would not. This channel would not be monetized. This channel wouldn't get the stream viewership that it gets. This channel wouldn't get the viewership that it gets. Like, it would not be where it is today without you. And that's a fact. So thank you for that. And moving on to the list of why I'm thankful for Xdefiant is that, quite frankly, this game has revived the arcade shooter. You know, as a person who was a really diehard Call of Duty fan, right? Especially when it came to Treyarch, but overall with Call of Duty, right? You know, the arcade shooter back in the day, when Call of Duty was at its best, when Call of Duty was still, you know, in form, it was different. And Xdefiant kind of reminds me of that in terms of the way the maps work, the way the game feels. You know, there's a reason why some people say that the game, you know, feels like a game that should have come out 10 to 15 years ago. And that's because it kind of is. You know, it's kind of modernized, but at the same time, it kind of is. Even when you look at the graphics, when you look at everything, like Xdefiant really resembles classic arcade shooter. Everything from the way the game looks, to the way the game plays, and to the way the matchmaking works, Xdefiant has resurrected the arcade shooter. And it's also put itself as another arcade shooter on the map because for the longest time, all you would have is Call of Duty. And then other games would just be different. But there was only one Call of Duty. It was the only arcade shooter. But now we also have Xdefiant. And it's doing things the way it is doing things. And for that, I'm thankful for. All right, moving on to the next reason as to why I'm thankful for Xdefiant. And I'm thankful that the game is still alive. You know, there was once upon a time to where before the game launched, it was delayed, right? And a lot of people were saying, oh, the game's never going to release. The game's never going to release. The game released. Some people would say that the game would only last, you know, 2 to 3 months and then it'd be dead. Now, granted, the viewership, the viewership as well as the player count from those 2-3 months ago has dropped drastically, to say the least. This is absolutely true. But the game is still alive. It may not be doing as well in numbers as we want it to, both as a community, and I'm sure Ubisoft doesn't either. But the game is still alive. We still have Season 3 coming up. We still have more marketing coming, according to Mark Rubin and everything like that. And as long as the game continues to get developer support, and the game being a free-to-play game shooter, you know, there's always that that possibility of more players coming in, the game continuing to get better, and therefore to stay alive. And of course, content creators continuing to support the game to help that cause. So when you look at it like that, I'm grateful that the game is still alive. You know, it's like, okay, we're down, but we're not out. So I'm grateful for that. All right, next up, number 8. So now I'm grateful for Xdefiant because even though the game is moving forward slowly, I think the game will continue to get better as time goes on. Because when you look at from where we were when the game originally launched to where we are now, overall, even though there's a few things that still need improvement, overall, at least in my experience, right? The game overall has gotten better because we have gotten more content, we have gotten more weapons, we have gotten more factions. The netcode overall is still something that kind of goes back and forth, sometimes on a session-to-session basis. But for the most part, in comparison to where it used to be at its worst, even now, sometimes when I have a few bad days in terms of like the inconsistencies here and there, which in one of the videos that I made previously was like one of the worst inconsistencies that I've had. But the stream that I just had a few hours ago went very, very smooth. I have to say that when looking at everything, Xdefiant overall has gotten better. And I very much look forward to it continuing to get better because if you think about it, there really is no finish line. This game could potentially keep going. Now, that's a big if. I understand that. I know that and I realize that. But again, as long as the game stays alive, that will continue to be possible. So moving on to the very last thing as to why I'm thankful for Xdefiant, and this one might be a surprise to you guys, but I'm thankful for the haters. I'm thankful for the haters because, well, haters that will leave, you know, toxic comments in the comment section or even come into chat or whatever it is. Guess what? Those haters are still helping the channel continue to grow and move forward because whether you like a video or dislike a video, leave a toxic comment, leave a positive comment or whatnot, the algorithm still sees it as, you know, interaction, which helps boost the video to continue to get more viewers, etc., etc. Why do you think negative videos are so popular on YouTube? Why do you think toxic videos are so popular on YouTube? Why do you think the news in real life is as popular as it is? You hardly see any good news, do you? Well, that's because it generates viewers, which turn into dollars. So therefore, here on YouTube, it's a very similar aspect to where it's like, okay, the algorithm is going to see that there's interaction going on. So guess what? It's going to push the video forward. So some of you guys that hate my content or just trolling or whatever it is that you're doing, at the end of the day, you're helping myself and my channel. So I am thankful for that. So with that being said, guys, this video is definitely run long enough, but I also wanted to finish off by wishing everybody who celebrates a happy Thanksgiving. And even for those of you guys that don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you know, to have a good week and to never neglect, for those of you guys that are close with your families, to not neglect the people that you have close to you, because quite frankly, the relationships we have with people and the memories we create are literally everything, and that's what truly matters more than anything else. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. Have a great holiday, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.